I think it was going to be some sort of surprise factor from Fnatic. One of those famous sOAZ teleports down bottom, or some sort of shenanigans in the mid game, switching things up.
Well, if they have a mid game advantage, they need to be able to press it very quickly. Blue, the best team really at coming back from mid game or early game deficits, yet it's not like they're bad in the mid or early game either.
Let's have a look at the bans then. We've had 4 already. Zilean and YellOwStaR banned away by Samsung Blue. On the other side, Twitch and Lee Sin taken away. So no Twitch for Deft, no Lee Sin for Spirit. Maokai will also be removed from the battle. So I'd like to say that that shrinks sOAZ's options here, but it is of course sOAZ. And well, if you look down if its champions played, I'd be here for about 3 hours telling you each of their names.
Also, they still have that Rumble on the table that we've been talking about. Ridiculous stats so far here at Worlds. Jungle focus here on Spirit, trying to limit his champion pool.
I am so shocked that Fnatic would be the ones to ban away Kha'Zix. I thought for sure Cyanide would want to pick that with one of their first 2 picks. And I guess they didn't want to chance Samsung Blue using their first pick on it because they had already banned away the Lee Sin. But
so
Zed's up.
If they give away Zed to Dade in exchange for choosing one of the earlier junglers here for dueling, he's got his pick of the litter right now. He's actually almost smiling for once.
That's not an almost smile. That is
all right.
That is very much a smile.
No bans thrown at Dade.
So I got an interesting story here about giving Zed to Dade, because this is something not a lot of teams like to do, and for very good reason. We were talking to the Cloud9 guys, and they're like, yeah, you know, in some of the scrims versus Blue, we actually gave Dade Zed once. And what happened was, in the early game, it wasn't even fed. 0-0-0 Dade, 1 versus 2, gets a double kill by himself. So they never gave him it again.
Yeah, I think the key part of that sentence was once. We gave him
gave it to him once.
But Fnatic going for that, and actually coming in here with Thresh, which has been a mega pick for sOAZ, for YellOwStaR. He's pulled off some amazing hooks throughout this season. Elise for Cyanide. Yes, we have a fair amount of jungle bans. Is Elise the right choice, though?
I'm very curious about these choices because they put such a high priority on jungle banning and picking away, but Spirit is a Rengar player as well, and people who are Rengar mains have had spectacular success at the World Championship. He could very easily still just pick Rengar or even Jarvan. I do not think they're getting much value out of these Lee Sin, Kha'Zix bans and Elise picks.
Yeah, it's a strange one, right? Oh, I'd love to see Rabbits.
You got really excited for half a second.
He's definitely joking around here. Having some fun with it. So, as we said, like 2 of the early duelist junglers are banned out, but there are plenty more left. You know, Elise and Jarvan, fairly equal on that account. Both of them depend on hitting their CC. If you hit the cocoon, then you can have the advantage with Elise, but if Jarvan hits his knockup, then it's a fairly even duel there.
So what a Fnatic going to add into this one? Of course, have last pick, so could wait for Peke's choice to go up against Dade Zed. See about that one. For now, support and jungler. So Fnatic not really given too much away at this stage, I think.
I'm still a little flabbergasted that Dade was able to pick Zed so easily with these jungle bans going away. The team composition Blue is putting together right now just fits them so well. Deft obviously on KogMaw, probably his favorite AD carry. It gives them a magic damage sprinkle, which is what they need if they have a full physical mid laner. Fnatic's going to have to pick something extraordinary here to try and make up for this.
Yeah, plus Acorn could very easily pick Lulu up top or a Kale up top. Or again, as we said, the Rumble once again to really top off that mid game. KogMaw Rumble we've seen have a lot of success.
This is interesting. Peke going with that Ahri. Putting a lot of faith in his skills here, allowing that Zed to go through.
So, Fnatic are a team that really excel with picks, and they're really going all in on this pick. I mean, they need to make these count then. The hooks, cocoons, and charms have to be on point if they're going to win this game.
I mean, we look towards the Champions Summer Final where Samsung Blue was defeated by the KT Arrows, who didn't even end up making it to Worlds. And KT Arrows was arguably the best early game team in the world, and they were able to punish some of Samsung Blue's vulnerabilities there. So the way you do that in the early mid game is you try and get picks. You try and make aggressive dives, and Fnatic is building towards that.
There's that Lulu, though, that we were looking for in the top lane for Acorn. He will give some extra peeling here for KogMaw. Lulu plus Nami locked in at the same time provides a tremendous amount of peel for him. They'll also probably be rushing one of those Mikhails because they are facing this pick comp.
I just want to look at the statistics from the last OGN and playoffs. 100% win record for Lulu for Acorn. 100% win record for Deft on KogMaw. 100% win record for Dade and Zed. 100% win record for Nami and Hart. 100% win record for Spirit on Jarvan. He's not played it. 100% nothing is still nothing.
He hasn't lost on it,
but he hasn't lost on it. So, I mean,
the undefeated composition.
They're pretty strong picks right now. On the other side, sOAZ is going to be busting out Irelia.
I guess.
Well, so Lulu early on, if they bring Cyanide's jungle Elise up there and they get this, you know, fairly early on squishy Lulu, they can get a kill on her. But I mean, they put so much emphasis on this jungle pick. We're gonna have to see some early jungle play from Cyanide, going very aggressive with this Elise.
And if Fnatic doesn't do that exceptionally and have at least a 7,000 gold lead by 20 minutes, they're gonna lose in team fights. They have almost all single target damage, and scaling roll the roll is not really better than blue in any single position. So they're really needing to go all in on this pick.
And that's where you've got to hope that Fnatic have somehow found a bucket load of confidence hidden somewhere inside the venue here, because yesterday they didn't look like a super confident team. There were some very sketchy moments from them, some very nervous looking plays, and with this kind of composition, they just can't afford to think too much about the play that they're going to make.
With those kind of stats,
you kind of fudged the last one 100% on Jarvan.
Like, yeah, shove that one.
We'll go with undefeated as well, but the fact that they haven't lost with any of those champions is a little bit ridiculous.
Well, guys, remember, we want to know who you think will win this match. Tweet hashtag SSB win or FNC win. Win, not win. And we'll be checking in throughout the game to see how your vote changes. A scary, scary lineup here for Samsung Blue. Of course, the favorites coming out of this group, you could argue, along with their sister team, Samsung White, the favorites for the whole thing here in the World Championships.
And, you know, once again, just because they did give away that first pick Zed to Dade, I'm going to go over this mid lane matchup once again. I said it yesterday, but now that Zed spawns behind you when he uses his ultimate, Peke is going to have to be on point with that charm. As soon as he comes in, you have to immediately throw your charm right behind you to tag him. Or we've already seen it yesterday at groups. Zed diving turrets against Ahri, and you don't even have enough time to get away with the Spirit Rush if you don't hit that charm. But good news is he will always spawn in the same spot, so if you're expecting it.
Unless you turn around too early and then he's kind of back where you thought he wasn't going to be when you throw your charm.
Better time it right.
Better time that one right. We'll see how Peke handles this one. Of course, a Season 1 world champion. Got pretty close last year as well. But I think it'd be very much a dream scenario for him if he was to be able to pick up a second World Championship. There's some early wards going down on the bottom side. YellOwStaR inside the brush will spot Hart and the vision that they're getting down.
Ooh, in range for a play.
Oh, that was brilliantly waited out by Hart. We'll see if he's waited too long here. The Ignite is going down. It's not going to be enough damage to get the kill. And Deft along there with the roam from Dade will be able to force him off. Hart going low. Didn't use his flash or exhaust, so really being so patient and knowing exactly how much damage he could take.
I feel like that would have been a summoner spell if he had started Flay for the easier to hit spell, but he went for the 100%. He went for the kill. He wanted to go all in, go for the hook to bring him in.
But because he missed the hook, it ends up being a summoner disadvantage for Fnatic. They were saying on the analyst desk one of the only ways they see Fnatic winning this game is if Rekkles and YellOwStaR can go aggressive at the right situation. You can see they're even building towards that with the Ignite and the Doran shield onto YellOwStaR. It's like they wanted to trade. Now that those items have been spotted out, you can see Deft is just getting away from that lane. They're not going to allow the Doran shield to be a lane advantage. Instead, they'll take the extra ward control that Hart started with and the gold generation from his item.
See if he can continue those great stats as well, the leads that he's had at 10 minutes in the lane when it comes to farm compared to his opposite number. Rekkles himself, not a bad farmer, that's for sure, and we're looking to make the most of that 2 versus 1 scenario. This mid lane, Dade already putting down, and also missing one shuriken there onto Peke. This lane is definitely one to be keeping an eye on. Peke's got to go all out in this match.
Yeah, he's got to constantly try and shove Dade under that turret. Use this lane control to try and make something happen with that early Elise. All right, so sOAZ, after seeing the lane swap here, they finally brought him down for the double jungle, but he's much later on it. Acorn's already got a level on him because they started with the double jungle, them being the ones that decided to go for this lane swap.
On the top side, Spirit actually double buffed up already, along with Acorn. Gonna make a bit of a play on this one. Getting the wards in. Is it a case of clearing out the jungle, or are they gonna put 4 men straight on the tower?
Well, it was a delayed lane swap, so the freeze couldn't be set up properly in the top lane. Because of that, they're gonna be going for a fast push. Whether Fnatic answers with the dragon or with a fast push of their own is yet to be seen.
And even if they could answer with that, well, it looks like they are actually doing a fast push of their own. They're gonna try and go turret for turret.
They can absolutely answer with the dragon, but they just don't want to, it seems like.
Will they be able to time it fast enough to go for that bottom turret and then swing around to that dragon? Not sure about that front, especially since they pulled away. So they're going to leave Rekkles to go for the tower. They'll send the other 4 towards the dragon.
So the thing is here, a lot of teams take this trade, dragon for top turret in the lane swaps. However, if you pull that top turret lane swap correctly, you kill the tower correctly and then group the minions to get them pushing back at you after you take this turret, then the ramifications later in the game are actually in favor of the team going with that top turret. Because for Dragon, your top laner is going to get much less experience. It's only 150 experience for this early Dragon, and that's split among everybody who's at the Dragon. So you can see sOAZ is going to be at a experience disadvantage, whereas up top, Acorn, shoving the wave, you get 206 experience per wave, and that's not even counting a cannon minion, plus an extra 30% if you're sharing it with people. So the team overall, that would bring it up to 268 experience just for that lane. Now, investing in experience is an investment in your future gold earning potential. So even though the initial gold trade is the same, the level discrepancy of your top laner is a great tool that a lot of, especially Korean teams, have made use of. Now they're going to be matching up.
That was a charm from Peke, landing Dade maybe in trouble. Cocoon lands back range there from Cyanide, but I'm getting a bit overexcited from that one. The damage not quite there yet.
I'm happy you got to use those numbers, Kobe. I saw you prepping them all pre-game. I'm going to save that one so I can remember those numbers for later as well, but you can definitely see Fnatic with the slight gold advantage, but as you said, the experience is a whole other story.
They got the minion wave pushing back against them. That's the key part. After they killed the turret, they grouped them up and got the minion wave pushing in Acorn's favor, so now sOAZ has to play on his terms. What this does is because sOAZ doesn't have a turret, sometimes it will draw the jungler up there to try and protect him. Cyanide, though, and the rest of Fnatic, focusing on the bottom lane here, do get seen by this pink ward.
And whilst we were earlier on talking about Alliance having the worst amount of wards cleared per minute in their games, Fnatic have the best, and we see it there once again. YellOwStaR moving in with the rest of their team. They see the pink ward going down. They will group up and just get rid of those big areas that you...
Well, here it is, 6-5!
They're going to dive straight in on top of him, but no, not quite the damage. Well, nowhere near the damage to finish off.
Yeah, he was jumping on that level 6 to level 5 advantage to get a health advantage. However, Peke with a good response there. We talked about responding very early to that Zed ultimate. So far, so good for Peke.
I think we're really just starting to see these lanes balance out now. The junglers are pretty even. Peke has survived that lane remarkably well early against Dade and wasn't even harassed down heavily by the death mark. And we get to see this 2v2 lane happen now where Rekkles does have the experience advantage as well as CS advantage over Deft. Plus he's a pickaxe to a longsword health crystal, so if Fnatic can get a little bit aggressive in this lane, they could start pulling some individual edges.
Yeah, he is going to get that level 6. They could even shove down another wave with his culling and try and get turret pressure here. The problem is ward coverage right now in Blue's favor. They've got ward coverage all over this bottom side.
However,
Jungler shows top though, that means there's no more threat.
Jungler showing on that top side means that they can do whatever they want. There's a bubble there onto Rekkles, and it seems like they've managed to force Fnatic away at least for now. There's the culling coming through, but actually Hart walking into that entire amount of damage there, going very, very low.
A pretty big misplay there by Hart there. If he hugged the wall, he clearly wasn't getting hit by the culling, and he seemed to walk into it. But now he's extremely low, and there's no reason for this turret push to stop except to teleport.
Oh, that teleport coming down bottom. YellOwStar's on less than half HP. Here comes the reply, though. sOAZ is going to come down. YellOwStar staying out of vision this entire time. Dade's onto Peke, flashing from... No! Got him! Yes, they got him in the end. Down the bottom. No one actually died in the end, thanks to those reverse teleports coming in. sOAZ coming down to answer Acorn. It was all about the mid lane and the minions bringing Peke back in, but first blood went to Dade.
So in the end, even though down bottom, Acorn misses his Glitter Lance and they don't get a kill, there's no kill down bottom, they have control of the wave, and Deft gets to shove it into turret here. See how many CS, Rekkles, and sOAZ can pick up under the turret. Looks like all of them.
That mid lane fight was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, we'll probably get another look at that here. All right, so here's the duel once again. Good Charm already used, so that's why Dade's going to go all the way in here.
The thing was...
2 minion shots! That ranged minion, what a hero!
What a
MVP. MVP of Fnatic's game so far. And that, I mean, Peke choosing to go for the flash without the minions, that wouldn't have been worth it. Gets it in the end though, and he's going to come back into lane with a needlessly large rod. If we look down the AD carries, actually Rekkles deciding to go straight into his boots here, picking up those Berserker Greaves and the pickaxe.
If we're looking at this game big picture though, as we saw in Champion Select, Samsung Blue has ridiculous edges in team fights, and this early game has been fairly muted. It's been very close, which is something that is very comfortable for Samsung Blue. One thing I like to say about them is Blue is very unimpressive until they straight up win, and that might be the story of this game.
Well, this is how you certainly get your stats buffed when it comes to killing walls. Have your supports trading them off inside of that tri-bush this entire time. There is YellOwStaR, gonna scan down and find that one out as well. So big war on the vision on that bottom side. This turret though, dangerously low, and with Cyanide's presence, I think Blue have to back away. However, they have Spirit coming around here. The hook comes out, lands onto Hart, followed up by the Cocoon. Can they get in there? Spirit himself does have flash available, and he goes for it. They trap in YellOwStaR, and will be able to get away. Max range knock him though, and Spirit will take down YellOwStaR.
So what happens here is they use both the hook and the Cocoon on the Nami who's under turret. There's nothing to protect them on their escape. Dade circles around, but they've already gotten away from this turret.
Deft was just raining chaos on them right there. He landed pretty much every single ultimate there, and just because of that little bit of over-aggression by Fnatic and a nice defense there by Spirit, it's going to be an easy dragon for Blue.
Going down without Fnatic doing much about it. And that will put them almost 1,000 gold into the lead. Credit to Peke, who took half the health off that middle outer turret before either Dade or Acorn could come down to that one. Well, Rekkles on his own here on this bottom side of the map needs to be a little careful. Hart can land a good bubble. He might be sent back home once again. Does look, however, like Blue are just recalling from that bottom lane to spend up. There's Dade once again, getting charmed, and half of his health disappears.
I just have to say it one more time, how I like Blue's attention to detail in the bottom fight, counting the stunts from Fnatic, because all of their cooldowns used on Hart under the turret, they chase him off 2 versus 3. They know that they have the spell advantage, and they come up with the kill. Earns them the objective as well.
I do have to talk about Peke in the mid lane, though. He's doing very well against Dade thus far. There hasn't been a massive amount of jungle pressure by either side, and he does have a bit of a health advantage. Another charm!
Diving straight in there. Can he finish off this time? Saving the Spirit Rush, the Ignite. The minions joining in as well for a bit of fun. Either way, it's not a kill, but it is a turret for Fnatic.
Really hoped he was going to go all in on that, but he isn't that bold. Doesn't want to risk losing his blue buff to somebody coming up the lane. Spirit is a guy known for having a knack of being in the right place. So if he's there, ready to counter gank you, and Peke uses his last Spirit Rush to dive a turret, then he ends up losing his buff.
You can actually just see how much Blue is relying on their ability to be in the right place. Boots aren't really an item for them 12 minutes into the game. Dade has tier 1 boots. He's the only person on their team, whereas we look at Fnatic, everyone has tier 1 boots, and Rekkles has even upgraded his, I feel like, to dodge the Bioarcane barrages from KogMaw. Or Living Artillery? Living Artillery. Can't dodge that Bioarcane barrage.
He could run away from it.
Yeah, real fast.
Get out of range. Right now, Deft just getting some fall from that middle lane, but we've gone past the 10-minute mark, and Deft, a man who's been ahead at 10 minutes compared to his opponents, is behind by a decent little chunk here as well. So Fnatic winning out on that front. Of course, have a little lead in this game, albeit just 500 golden. You have to feel like those kind of leads you have to, take and just throw Samsung Blue's way. Sonya's has now finished YellOwStaR. That gives him a chance to start some things up.
Well, Dade already saw that there was going to be a Zhonya's completed because he saw the build path, and he was counting the gold here from Peke, so he swapped over to split pushing now. He's got his Cutlass plus his Brutalizer. He swaps to split pushing down bottom, which is actually something a little bit rare for Blue, not to go and have Dade away from the team here. So he's going to be split pushing against sOAZ in the bottom lane, and sOAZ has to get more ward coverage. As you can see, he's playing very defensively here, getting some extra ward coverage and letting Dade shove it back.
Fnatic once again going in, trying to get some wards down and stealing away the Wraith Camp, something that Peke has done very well over the course of the LCS season. Something that really relies on to just bump his farm by that extra amount. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Dade going down bottom, sOAZ has basically been the answer to this one. And actually, as it pushed up over the halfway mark, he's just a level behind Dade right now. Dade is going to die for him here. This is surely sOAZ going to go down, but he's putting in some decent damage. Ignite will be used, but finish off, and that is Dade's second of the game.
It's just a smart move. He had gone to split pushing. sOAZ had not itemized armor, and once the death mark was on, sOAZ kind of had two options. He could either trade flashes or save both flashes. He just decided to accept his fate, kept his flash. Dade did as well, though, and Dade picks up the kill.
Top lane Rekkles looked like he was being collapsed upon there, but now it's Deft just coming up. Spirit moving through the jungle. Actually, they were spotted by wards, so Rekkles had that early warning system in place. Meanwhile, a blue buff will be handed over to Peke, who, funnily enough, is now looking like he could be headed down towards this bottom side of the map just to get a wave or two's farm. Push that one back in Fnatic's favor. On the other side of the map, though, Samsung Blue all grouped up here. 4 men around that blue buff after seeing those wards going down. Doing a good job of clearing out most of them, but that's a cheeky little spot there for Fnatic inside of the wolf camp.
Yeah, Fnatic are going to do their best to get that deep ward coverage. They have a little bit in the red side jungle, but they also have to worry about blue wards and clearing those out, because actually both teams have the potential to pick. Yes, Fnatic definitely have the advantage in that area, but we've already seen Dade's ability to 1 versus 1. Now he's level 11 too. That was only a level 1 ultimate before.
Yeah, and I'm just waiting to see how Fnatic can set these things up. Blue is a tremendously talented defensive team. They have also withstood a lot of the potential pitfalls against this Fnatic team. When they're able to get that 2v3 turnaround at the bottom lane and secure the dragon, they kind of secured themselves safety up until 20 minutes, and unless they give a bunch of kills to Fnatic here, they're almost assured in outscaling them. So even though Fnatic is acquiring vision control over this next dragon, Blue doesn't have to contest it because they've already secured a dragon for themselves. They're getting farm in the right places, and they feel like they can weather whatever mid-game Fnatic storm they have planned.
The group, only 10 seconds for Dragon, and YellOwStaR has done a good job of just pushing his way through to Samsung Blue's red buff and clearing out the vision along the way. They have full sight. Oh, there's a charm coming through. Actually, the orb did connect onto Spirit, but they couldn't get any more than that.
With sOAZ up top, Fnatic shouldn't start this dragon. They should just delay Blue right now. Blue would have to be the ones to force something. So if Fnatic play this carefully, then Blue are actually going to have to be the team that start up the dragon and start taking damage from it, because sOAZ is gaining advantages. He took the turret, he's still shoving, he's getting solo lane experience, he's pushing as hard as he can.
If one team knows how to use the teleport advantage, though, it is Fnatic. Blue, though, not hesitating and just going for the dragon. Here comes the teleport.
Gotta move in for this one. YellOwStaR will flash. They get the hook onto Spirit. He puts the Cataclysm down. Charm comes through. They do manage to take down the dragon as well. And Fnatic surely just gonna turn and burn from this one. The Spiderling comes on through. sOAZ in full vision there, but Fnatic do get away with their lives.
So how do Fnatic get their advantage? Teleport usage. Vision control over Dragon. They have sOAZ in the right place. Beautiful call there from Fnatic. Blue take the bait. Run right into Dragon to try and force them because they'd already committed 5 members away from the split push. They had to do something.
Even though that was an overall win for Fnatic, I do have to give a shout out to Spirit for that escape. Not many people think to Cataclysm when they get caught just so they can EQ out. Most people would try to EQ immediately. Because he Cataclysmed first, it assured his escape.
He was able to escape. Good job once again, sOAZ with the, Cyanide with the quick fingers for Smite as well, secure for Fnatic. So they got 2 objectives out of that call. Top turret as well as Dragon. They do need to snowball that lead though.
Every single lane was able to come out of laning phase with a pretty big edge. 25 CS in the top lane, almost 40 in the mid lane for Peke, and even Rekkles is doing a nice job about farming. When they hit their item peaks, which they're kind of close to now, they need to continue to force objectives. Baron has to go down before 30 minutes for Fnatic if they want to win this game.
This is where, once again, that real test comes in. We saw it in our last encounter. Alliance had a big lead at this point in the game. Were unable to convert that into a victory. And you could even argue that Fnatic are up against an even tougher opponent when it comes to closing out the game, especially since the fact that Deft going to be getting stronger and the team fight potential of Blue is incredibly strong.
The scaling is way more out of whack in this game than it was in our last one. Blue is just head and shoulders above Fnatic as far as team fight ability late game. So this 2,000 gold advantage will mean nothing 15 minutes from now. Fnatic needs to make this a much larger edge. I kind of put my ballpark of what Fnatic needs to have accumulated by 20 minutes at a 5,000 gold lead if they wanted to win. They're not there yet, so they still have to make some pretty aggressive moves if they want to win.
And it seems to be that sticking point once again of outer turrets are down. How do we change outer turrets into those inner turrets and then go even further with that? You'd argue that vision is the first step. If you look at Samsung Blue's map, despite having all those outer turrets down, Fnatic have no real wards in there. They've got one over the back of the Dragon Pit, which of course you can place on the safety of the Dragon Pit itself.
Yeah, Blue I got 4 pink wards down on the map. Fnatic trying to do their best to clear them out now, but before Fnatic can make a play, they have to establish control of one side of the jungle to actually make that play on. sOAZ walking right into darkness.
Why?
Oh, there's the bubble coming in. Spirit's going to knock him up. sOAZ's health bar gets demolished, and it will actually be Hart that gets the kill. Caught out.
It was just a bad path to take. Fnatic has a defensive pink ward in their own jungle. Use the controlled, safe vision. Do not go walking into the fog of war. They would have been about the same time to get up there anyway. Big mistake by sOAZ there.
See how they can recover though.
That's the pink ward he was supposed to use to get to top lane.
This buys more time here for Blue as well. Now they're going to siege up around mid. Dade still split pushing.
Pain coming through there from Deft with that Trinity Force now on. It's going to be a little bit of an issue for Fnatic once Samsung Blue starts to step up a little bit onto those turrets. We can see as soon as Fnatic come out, Samsung Blue saying, nope, we don't fancy this just yet. We're going to back away from you. Good slow from Acorn towards xPeke, and Rekkles almost be burst down there. Deft doing some good damage with half of Rekkles' health bar gone.
Yeah, Deft doesn't care about the 68 CS disadvantage he's facing to Rekkles right now. KogMaw with double buffs and Trinity Force. If you walk into his area of presence, he will punish you, and Deft did a great job there getting damage done onto Rekkles.
And here comes the push towards the tower, and instantly Rekkles pulls the trigger, gets that call.
This is their opportunity.
Oh, Peke actually started to flank around the side there, but in the end, seeing no opportunity for him. He's just gone straight down towards that bottom. There's actually a really big wave with him down on that bottom side of the map as well, but with Samsung Blue pushing this mid lane, not sure that Peke can necessarily stick around for that.
And he didn't even shove it all the way into the turret here, so walking up towards mid, let's see, they would have to hit a skill shot Fnatic unable to grab the crucial pick. Wards have timed out for Blue on their bottom side of the map, though. Fnatic really need to jump on one of these quadrants, focus their vision efforts, and try to make plays in that area.
This is a period of the game where we're seeing so much won and lost. European teams, Alliance and Fnatic, have both held edges at this point in the game, and especially against Blue and Shield, it has really just shown that Blue and Shield own this part of the game. Their vision control is superior, they're the ones that have been able to find the picks, and they're the ones that have been able to prevent getting killed. This Dragon will have a big part in deciding whether Fnatic can continue their lead or whether they're just going to succumb to the late game of Samsung Blue.
Do they want to fight for it? Just 2,200 gold separates the two teams. And here comes Samsung Blue. Charm will fly wide from Peke. Has to use the ultimate to get away from the bubble.
And there goes a lot of their team fight presence. Peke is their main source of damage, the only guy on their team to have a kill even.
They're running. Oh, what a switch. They're going up mid. What a feint at Dragon.
Nice move.
Nice swap.
And they're going to get this story here as well with both sOAZ and Rekkles. They will rip through that one. One more auto attack will do it. Deft and Acorn both coming across the side there. And we'll see where they do decide to chase. Peke, of course, using his ultimate early, won't have that available to him. And now Samsung Blue just pushes them straight back up the mid lane and moving straight in towards Dragon. That's a decent charm from Peke to chunk Spirit somewhat, but
he still doesn't have Spirit Rush. So this Dragon, whoa, here they're going for it.
Blue knows that Fnatic can't really team fight them without Spirit Rush, so it's a smart take.
And Cyanide not even trying to get in on that one through the spider in forward, hoping that it might just get it if a mistimed smite comes out of Spirit. That, of course, doesn't happen. Samsung Blue get themselves a Dragon, and Deft here actually going towards Rekkles, not quite got the range to get him slowed, and he took the Lantern to safety anyway.
Pretty much all about that wave clear now. They're going to have to use the culling this time around. Blue have to watch out once again, though, for the skill shot. That's always a real threat for them if they do siege up. Because the wrong person getting caught out, even if it was the front line, even if they caught Spirit, they could burst them down. So they don't even try it, spread back out defensively. They don't have to press it.
Blue, to me, has just done such a good job of tapering their aggression here and coming out with a successful stall. So many teams, when they're in a late game mindset, will give up everything without questioning it, whereas what Blue is doing is they're finding nice ways of getting Dragons. They're still getting those pick kills, even if they're not willing to commit to team fights, and they're doing it all while avoiding the picks from the Elise, Thresh, Ahri, Irelia team, a team that is completely built around finding kills in the mid game, and Fnatic has gotten one single kill, and it was a 1v1 kill where they traded.
See that sOAZ now coming down to his bottom lane, actually with that Trinity Force and his Warden's Mail, might be feeling a little bit more confident going up against Dade. In the end, though, Heart and Deft both show themselves, and sOAZ says, okay, I have to just leave now. I definitely can't hold on to that one. That's going to be the outer turret, the final one. Actually, it's a live Fnatic's middle turret still stands. They took away the blue on the way out as well, though.
Seems like we have hit that point, though, on the power curve of Samsung Blue. They don't have to trade for objectives anymore. They just get the clean upper hand here. Turret for nothing, because Fnatic do not want to fight them straight up. Uh-oh. They bring over.
Knows they have to make a move. They have a numbers advantage on this side of the map.
Oh, that's actually nice. On towards Dade. He's actually going to get the wild growth out of Acorn. They're coming through. Rekkles gets the one. Can they shut down Acorn as well? They do. It's a double kill for Rekkles, and this tower is going to fall. Who's tanking it up? That will be YellOwStaR on the backside. The minion wave comes through. Fnatic take their 5th tower of the game.
Rekkles flashes in for that as well. Fnatic very willing to go in, and we said they needed that pre-30-minute Baron. I don't think this is enough to be able to go for a Baron, but they can at least establish some control.
They're going to try and get another pick here. This is the dangerous time walking into Fog of War for Heart. Oh, they missed both of them!
Everything missing. everything missing, and Deft trying to turn this one around. There is a tidal wave coming in. Cyanide down in the middle though. They managed to pick up Deft. Spirit's in the front. It's going to be sOAZ that gets one at the back, and now they're trying to chase out Spirit. To be honest, they could try and turn here and go towards Baron, but Spirit's still up there, still with a smite. You want to get him out of it, not let him even have a chance of getting in. Somehow still alive in this one. Finally gets hooked and controlled. And that's a win there for Fnatic, but what can they turn that into?
Nothing. Dade and Acorn are back up. They can't overextend. They can't get an objective after it. They did get several of the kills that they wanted, though. And vision control over Baron now being... Oh.
Yeah, this was such a good
Both of them.
And even though they missed, that almost kind of baited Beta Blue into a bit of overconfidence right there. Deft gets way too aggressive, and then Spirit just goes all in. But remember, their two solo lanes were dead. They were never going to win this fight.
Because Fnatic have so many skill shots, Deft was like, okay, 2 are down. They missed the hook, they missed the cocoon. Now is my time to shine. I'm going to run up here, but they still have Charm left, and xPeke does land one. So 1 out of 3, still enough to get Fnatic
Still count.
a couple of kills.
Almost 30 minutes into the matchup now. 39,500 to 43.5. Decent little lead for Fnatic. It's still not quite the 5K that you were talking about at 20 minutes. Whoa. Still further into this one. Spirit actually going to be caught inside his Cataclysm there. They went for YellOwStaR at the first push, and there is the culling actually coming through. Spirit loses half his health. They force the wild growth out. xPeke's got to come up big. There's a stun onto Acorn. xPeke blows him up as Dade goes towards Rekkles, but he's just going to QSS that off, and surely will get the kill. He does pick it up. They've managed to kill off Spirit as well. 3 men is down. I don't see Deft escaping. It was a charm again coming out of xPeke. Time to turn and go Baron.
Let's count the skill shots on that one, because Fnatic hit everything they had with an ace.
Heart's going here. Someone's going to splash away through the bubble. He is exhausted, but he won't make a difference. They get the ace. They're going to Baron.
Everything went perfect for Fnatic in that last fight. Not only did so many cooldowns get burnt on Cyanide, who is a full tank Elise, xPeke got the flank, they had a spread out fight, the AoE didn't matter, and they got that pre-30-minute Baron.
All right, let's count them here then, because Spirit, very aggressive. They have the whole team here, but sOAZ has his teleport, and xPeke, you see him walking up right now. As you said, dumping everything into Cyanide. They get him under the turret, and then xPeke flanks around the outside. sOAZ sets this up with the stun. Cocoon hits, Charm hits, xPeke gets the burst, and they still have one left for Dade. Hook does miss, but that doesn't matter. They already hit 2 out of 3, and they can easily follow it up. They bursted Acorn down. He got no chance to do anything. sOAZ sets it up with the Irelia stun, and they never got that Lulu ultimate off.
Yeah, well, they actually did. It was on the initiation beforehand with Spirit.
They were on Spirit.
They blew so much just trying to kill Cyanide. They used it as an offensive ability when they built this entire mid-game about finding the right team fights later in the game, and then when they actually pull the trigger to make it, they flubbed. Samsung Blue, with all that build-up, did not deliver in that team fight.
So, Jack, you were almost rescued on that 5,000 statement. Since we get to 30 minutes, it's almost 10,000 now. What a swing that ace really brings in for them. Ace into the Baron, into a Dragon as well. And now they're going to be pushing for their 6th turret of the game. They have that cannon minion there. Did have a cannon minion there. That is going to be smited away by Spirit, but Fnatic say, screw it, let's just tank this up.
Yeah, by no means is this game over either, because Fnatic doesn't miraculously have a greater team fighting team, but they still have so many advantages. Look at how farmed Rekkles is, and he can take turrets fast.
Yeah, you can tell. Blue, they switch footing. Yes, they're super far behind now, so they immediately go to try and trade objectives. They don't want to straight up 1-for-1 defend these. They try and get one turret, they get him in.
Oh, they landed the charge. DFG comes down, but they didn't follow through onto it. xPeke was scared about going too deep. There's the culling back, and they will decide to just walk away from that one. Close stuff. If the DFG had been, well, hit, if the charm would have landed then before the DFG, well, it doesn't matter now. Didn't happen for YellOwStaR, getting bubbled, but he's inside the bush.
They have to be really careful right now. The Michaels is almost completed for Heart. Once that happens, these picks are going to be much less punishing here. Fnatic live and die by these skill shot CCs.
and they're trying desperately to...
Oh, it's completed now. They have it for this defense.
We have to watch out now if Peke lands a charm, whether that actually baits them into an initiation, because it's very hard to track enemy support itemization, especially as soon as he gets it here.
So, Fnatic stepping up. Deft trying his best to hammer away. Oh, there's a cocoon going for Deft. He's been blown down. Almost finished off there.
He didn't use it. They still have it.
Yeah, but I mean, that turret might not last by the time Deft gets back. He doesn't have home guard boots. He builds a long sword instead, but the wave does not cooperate with Fnatic's plan.
That is bold, to not immediately use your Michaelis on the first skill shot that hits so that Deft can dodge the consecutive follow-up ones. But they save it for this round of defense.
Well, let's see if they're gonna need it. Those waves just destroy it. They're coming onto a deck. They don't use it. They don't use it. Dade is gonna dive to the middle of them, and he will fall so low there as well. Manages to just walk back into the base, but they've killed off the AD carry. Again, Fnatic decide, screw it, let's take it. Max range onto Acorn. We'll get the one. Heart will be the next one. Fnatic could win the game right here.
So many skill shots. It's a skill-based game. Deft was just hyped up so much for his ability to dodge all these skill shots, but Fnatic is still landing one after another.
And Hart, you need to move your Michaelis or something. The button's broken here. He still hasn't used it. Is that a bug? Is that a spectator?
It's not a bug.
It's not a bug. I haven't seen it go off.
It's because it hasn't gone off, Kobe. He's not used it.
All right.
Oh, Dade, face check. Rekkles unstoppable. Thinking that Fnatic have completely backed away.
What is happening with Blue right now? We have to remember Dade has failed against Fnatic before on the world stage, and this game has obviously not been on Dade, but Fnatic always seems like they can step up in these key situations. They're just landing every skill shot. Let's just watch this one. There's the charm. Obviously, they burst him down so much. The Lulu ult doesn't even matter.
I think Blue was out of range.
The right fight. He was. He
was miles away.
Oh, he was back too far. Yeah, well, from that point, they've already killed Deft, and it's easy for them to take out the turret.
Look at Rekkles right now as well. 7-1-4. The CS advantage really kicking into high gear here. He's been putting out so much farm. Every role is actually over-farmed. Spirit miraculously has 142 on Jarvan. He needs it to be able to initiate in. As soon as he jumps in, he's going to get stunned and try to get bursted down. Baron control will be very pivotal here.
What are they going for? Spotting out a ward there. Let's see YellOwStaR trying to get a full control of this side of Samsung Blue's jungle. And we'll get that as well. That gold lead now is at 12,000 in favor of Fnatic. Just over half an hour into this game. Actually pinging the mid lane there. That one is actually pushing up towards that halfway point. Fnatic want the pressure in all three lanes to move forward.
Look at that gold difference between Rekkles and Deft right now. 15,700 to 10,000. It's a 5,500 gold advantage.
And look at the team fight impact, the difference between Peke and...
Oh! Barry's gone for it here. They've dove in. There's only 3 of them there from Fnatic. YellOwStaR will come round. He's hooked a minion. Not the target he won. And now Dade is going to go for Rekkles. What can he do? He's got a QSS. The death mark is, of course, gone. Not able to finish him off. And now we see Peke right in the middle of the group. sOAZ dives towards Deft. He's now all alone. They're going to turn this one around. And sOAZ is the man to fall.
Wow, what a miraculous team fight by Blue there, down over 10,000 gold. They jumped the initiation before all of Fnatic is there. It looked like Dade had lost his mind. He almost was able to kill Rekkles and still got out of his life, despite going in what seemed like 1v3.
Bad quick silver sash for a Rekkles.
Yeah. Woo. Even so, they still lose the fight.
Yeah, sOAZ too close there, and the Blade of the Ruined King active. Going in too close to KogMaw, gets slowed down, and he can't escape. Fnatic, they've got that one inhibitor down, but Blue have made stands in games down more than this.
We're 36 minutes in. I like the fact that Blue has put so much farm onto Spirit. It allows him to be able to go in and actually initiate without immediately falling prey to anything Fnatic puts at them. But with that being said, 12,000 gold, Baron's up. Vision control has actually not been acquired though.
I do want to take another look at the beginning of that fight too. What triggered Dade to go all in for Rekkles? Did he see an early.
I mean, he knew Peke was off on the side. He knew sOAZ wasn't there. I think he was just trying to get as much damage down as possible.
He almost got him, even with the sash. Ignite not enough though. Fnatic do retain control of the map. What they need to do now is, again, set up that line of vision wards. They need this line of wards inside the jungle of blue for them to control this Baron, for them to get those bait picks that they need before the full 5-on-5 breaks out.
How are blue gonna handle this one? Their wards being removed from the map. There's one coming over the top of the wall into that brush, and Fnatic got nothing to really sweep that one out with at this stage. There was a hook pretty much blind going through. Didn't land though, and Fnatic realizing that they have to push this middle wave back. That bottom lane, of course, is going to be pushing in Fnatic's favor, although the inhibitor has now respawned.
Fnatic can't chance around this for too long. You can see Rekkles is almost item capped. Deft is only going to get stronger from this point. Cyanide and sOAZ going nearly full tank builds. Fnatic is pretty much running a two-threat team right now, so if it gets super late game, they would struggle pretty heavily. They have to force quickly. That's a smart move.
Great little sneak there. Because they saw a couple of these wards placed leading up to the Baron in the river, they work around the vision that they know blue has, not feeding them any unnecessary information and keeping at least a few members mid to draw blue's attention. So they come up with the Baron, and now they need to use that Baron to take down that inhibitor, the exposed inhibitor. Try and get some picks around it. Be careful about those quick initiations from blue. Last time they got to the doorstep, Spirit pulled the trigger.
Insane game so far. Fnatic well up in the lead. Another Baron buff now to try and push their lead. And we said that they had to be decisive. There was a point in this game where I thought that Fnatic were moving around the map with no particular aim. They seem to have righted that ship for now. Obviously, having that fight down in the bottom lane, going in for that two-man Baron, working out for them up until this point.
It's almost like they waited till the last possible moment to turn it on. Then they took a risk. Fnatic doesn't like making high-risk plays, but they had to make one. It paid off, and now they're just trying to snowball it to victory.
And you have to do that when you're running a comp like this that has so much variance in it. It's all dependent on all these skill shots that land. This is, you know, why Fnatic are a lot of the times considered kind of a swingy team, because it does depend a lot on how those turn out.
I was watching an interview with Spirit before now saying that blue had lost an embarrassing number of scrims to Western teams by their standards, and honestly, it definitely seems like Fnatic, I've heard they've been showing up very well in scrims as well. Obviously, they're not scrimming against blue because they're in the same group. But even in the first game we saw today, Alliance versus Najin White Shield, Alliance put up a great fight in the mid game. I mean, these European teams, they came to play.
Yeah, these groups, this group,
it's a group of death. Like, it's not easy for anyone.
Said they were going to be exciting at the beginning of the day.
And it makes this group, if Fnatic are to win this one, absolutely insanely wide open. Fnatic are going to go in towards this bottom inhibitor now. There's no turret there from that push earlier on. Inhibitor spawning back in. Fnatic just have to be confident about this one. They have to use the advantage that they've got going. There is Rekkles stepping forward. The Culling will knock Samsung Blue away, and that is the inhibitor going down.
It's a smart move to concede that by Samsung Blue. If they fought them with the Baron buff and no turret to aid them, it would have been game. They're going to try and force the final fight of the game at one of their inhibitors that is at least defended by a turret.
And honestly, one line of super minions is manageable as long as it doesn't snowball into two lines. Like, they still have the ability to clear the side wave here with Dade fairly quickly and then move right back up if the fight breaks out. The thing is, if one of these hooks again lands onto Deft, where they can burst him down before the reactions from Acorn and Hearts, same story will be true.
Culling is back off cooldown as well. That could be what Fnatic need here to force Samsung Blue once again away from this turret. YellOwStaR keeps those hooks flying through, trying to just catch someone that Fnatic can make the jump on. We'll see about that. Peke does step forward now, and there is a Culling coming through. It's Deft that it connects onto, and that means that Fnatic have already got that inhibitor turret down. Oh, very good. Oh, last second wild growth. They got the tower, and they're going to get Acorn. This could be it for Fnatic. Now they're trying to get away. Peke goes massive, gets the double kill. 2 inhibitors down. Are Fnatic going to look to win the game? No, they want to do it by the book. They're going for top.
They've killed both solo laners, so the defense for the third inhibitor is near impossible, but they seem like they have the momentum. Big death timers, third inhibitor potentially on the way. Deft Spirit still alive.
Fnatic stepping up once again. This time Samsung Blue back away. sOAZ going to go towards Spirit. No stun, he's too healthy. Only gets the slow, but he'll force them away. 3 inhibitors down for Fnatic. Super minions coming in through that bottom lane. There's another calling towards Deft. They're going to try and get in. The hook pulls the minion. Can they land one of those big CC chains and lock a man down? They're going in for the Nexus turrets. They get the first one.
They just got to focus
trying to hold it up. We've still got 15 seconds for Dade to come up. There's the second Nexus turret. Peke using a last second on it. Fnatic are fighting here. Is it going to go well for them? Is it going to go their way? They finish it off, and Fnatic take down Samsung Blue.
Can I just say that Peke showed up and proved everybody this game that he still has it. They let Dade on Zed, and he went into that counter pick in mind, chose the Ahri, which is skill matchup, all based on hitting that charm, and he had such a tremendous impact on the team fights. Pick after pick after pick, bursting down that single target champion, and Dade on Zed did not have the same success.
And guys, this just makes Group C wide open. We have LMQ at 2-0. Fnatic is now at 1-1. Blue is also now at 1-1. What is going to happen here? Fnatic looked incredibly strong here. Pretty weak against LMQ. Every team is about the matchup now.
Judging